Global beer brewer SABMiller has launched its first ever cassava-based beer and affordable beer category aimed at cracking the untapped home brew market in Southern Africa. We're joined now by Jerry van den Houten. He's SABMiller's Africa Supply Chain and Enterprise Development Director, who's led SABMiller's development of this pioneering brew. Thanks so much for your time. So, cassava beer, it's what people drink traditionally, it's what they brew at home, it's what they drink at very sort of informal gatherings. It's not what we see in the retail space, and you're bringing it from that informal space into the mainstream. What informed that decision?
Yes, I think the product that we're making is in fact very different to what you would normally see in the traditional market. So we're not actually competing in fact with the traditional home brew. It's very much a clear lager brew. It's a new raw material in that sense, and we're really aiming this particular product at the informal spirit market in sub-Saharan Africa, which for us is an untapped market. It's a big growth opportunity for us, and we're extremely excited about it.
Okay, well, cassava brew, somebody's asking themselves right now, what does that taste like?
This particular product, Impala Lager, which we launched in Mozambique today, it's a standard lager beer. It looks exactly like a normal lager. It's clear. It has a head. It has its own profile. It's perhaps slightly more sour than the standard brew. Not in that sense, but we think that will very much appeal to the consumers that we're aiming at.
Okay, cassava obviously is a staple root that we find in Africa, so it should make production cheaper. You know, as you avoid sort of the volatility we've seen in wheat prices that have affected your input costs. But does it necessarily translate into a cheaper production?
It's a slightly lower cost. It's a very different raw material to let's say, in fact, maize. In fact, for example, it's the biggest crop in Africa, but it's the least sort of commercial crop in Africa. It's mostly farmed by subsistence farmers, and these subsistence farmers are really partners in this particular enterprise, in fact, for us. So we have taken costs out. We are also, in fact, very much in partnership, in fact, with the Mozambique government. The market that we're aiming at is a non-excise market, whereas we will be paying excise on this product, but at a lower rate than we would normally pay for, in fact, a standard lager. So we've made it very affordable for the consumer.
So you seem to have taken a developmental approach here, saying that you want to work with subsistence farmers, so trying to commercialize them a little bit in terms of how they farm cassava. You're working with the Mozambican government, and I think there's a local partner as well in Mozambique. Tell us about that relationship.
Yes, the technology that we're using was in fact developed by a Dutch company called Datco, who we are partnering with, and it's quite a revolutionary technology in the sense that it's very much a mobile technology. So the standard technology would be to do this in a large standalone commercial plant. This particular technology allows us to actually go into the farming areas, and it overcomes two main problems that are normally associated with, in fact, cassava. The one is that it is a high water content, and therefore you can't really transport it over large distances. And secondly, when you harvest it, you have to use it, in fact, within 24 hours. So that's allowed us to basically do what we've done.
The commercial viability of all of this, you're expecting that with its takeoff, it should account for about 10% of your beer sales in a market like Mozambique. If it takes off into the rest of the region, how are you expecting to perform?
Yes, the Mozambique operation is very much a pilot for us. It's a full-scale, in fact, commercial pilot, and we hope to prove the whole model there, including the farming model as well as the beer in the marketplace. And certainly if it is successful, we will obviously want to roll that out to the other markets that we are in Africa.
Many brewers want an element of local content as they come into Africa, something that speaks to the local consumer, that they can relate to, that's affordable at cost level, all those kinds of things. But there's sense in it, I think, ideologically, but is there sense in it financially? Where has it worked? Who else is doing something like this?
Yes, look, for us this is very much a business enterprise, and I think we're in a happy situation that this is a business for us, but it has very good, if you like, socio-economic spin-offs. So we're able to do this in partnership with smallholder farmers, and I think will make a major contribution to the sort of agricultural development in Africa. But at the end of the day, it's a profitable line, in fact, for us, and that ensures that it is a sustainable venture going forward.
I mean, SABMiller, I mean, you're renowned for going where others fear to tread, going into countries like southern Sudan, when we weren't even sure if it would ever be an independent country, where apparently there's only like 100 kilometers of tarred road. I don't know how true those anecdotes are.
True.
But you go in there seeing the potential where others don't see it. And then how do you thrive?
Well, we put a brewery into southern Sudan probably about 3 years ago, and as you said, that was before it was an independent country. It's now the latest independent country. The cassava project, which we're doing in Mozambique, we will be following up in southern Sudan. There are a lot of people returning, in fact, to the land from the war situation, and they're looking at farming opportunities. And once again, I think that the local government there is very interested in what we're doing, and we will form a partnership with them, as well as with the other agencies who actually provide development to the farmers, etc. So we hope it's going to be successful, and we're fairly confident that it will be.
I mean, obviously you're also tapping into this whole notion of the new African consumer, the rising middle class, but we're also seeing so many of us bucking under the pressure of rising inflation and making decisions as to how to spend our money. And I know that people say that in good times and bad times people will always drink, so you'll always have a market. But will people always drink a premier brand? Why would people buy Impala Lager, for instance, as opposed to brewing it at home?
Yes, as I said earlier on, this is not competing with the homebrew. The homebrew, I think, is a very different product. It's almost like a food type in fact product. So this is really competing with informal alcohol, and that informal alcohol is often of a fairly dubious quality. It has health hazards. People are killed, maimed, etc. So we're putting, in fact, a quality product into the marketplace at a very affordable price. So we think the consumers will be very excited, and we've in fact already seen that. We sold virtually all our stocks that we've made so far in about 15 minutes. So far so good.
That's a good sign.
It is a good sign.
Okay, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Jerry van Houten, he is SABMiller's Africa Supply Chain and Enterprise Development Director, talking to us about the launch of Impala Cerveja in Mozambique.